Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi and today we're going to take a look at a few new makeup releases. We have the new 3-drop weightless serum foundation from Rituel de Fille and I have a wear test for that as well. We have a couple of the new McGrath cream blushes. So these are the Divine Blush Legendary Glow Color Bombs. And we also have the new Victoria Beckham Contour Stylus in Marble. This was sent to me by my friend Sherry. Thank you so much. That was really sweet of you. And let's go ahead and get started. Now, before we get into everything, I do want to mention that on my eyes here, I'm wearing the Dior Cool Neutrals Backstage palette. And these will be, I'm guessing they're reformulating them, but regardless, they are changing the palettes. So the new ones will not have the primer shade in there anymore, that like makeup base. And right now, some of these are getting a little bit harder to find. So if this is a palette you're interested in or any of the other Backstage eye palettes, definitely, take a look while they are still available. So I just purchased the Cool Neutrals and I love it. I've been wearing it, every day this week. So really loving that, especially for some nice light eye looks. You can also get some cool smoky looks and so forth, but it's just a great palette for my complexion. I do have swatches in the video on the Dior Rosy Glow blushes if you're interested in seeing those colors. So let's go ahead and move on. And let's talk about the new Rituel de Fille foundation serum, or serum foundation. So let's take a quick look at this product. Now, I picked mine up from Rituel de Fille directly while they were doing their Memorial Day sale, but this is also available at Credo Beauty, and they do have 10% off there. So, if you're interested in it, that might be a good way to go. Rituel de Fille does not often have sales on their website directly. So this here is plastic packaging here. We have 1 fluid ounce, so 30 milliliters. It's made in the US. And this is a screw top cap. And you can see we have, this nice little, drop style applicator here. By the way, this has a 1-year shelf life. On the bottom, it says press me. And you do want to shake this first. So like I've already shaken mine because I just recently used it. But you can see you just press it and the drops will come out. And I have shade 110 and there are quite a few shades available. Now, when you close this, do you hear that click? You want to make sure that you do close it up all the way to, really prevent it from drying out, making sure that the product stays as fresh as possible. So let's go ahead and take a look at some information about this while we look at the application and wear test for this product. And just real quickly, I'll spread this out so you can see what that looks like. And then we will swatch a new one so you can see oxidation level after we go over the details. Now, according to Rituel de Fille, this is a weightless serum foundation with buildable medium coverage and a glowy natural finish, created with a hyperpotent new fermented carotenoid active for radiant skin. And it says it offers the complexion you want from a buildable medium coverage foundation, the ease you want from a tinted oil, and the ingredients you want from a serum, all in one formula unlike anything you have tried before. It's a real foundation that wears like skincare, with wear so light it feels like nothing at all. It includes organic marula oil, jojoba oil is actually the first ingredient, and you're supposed to get a perfect glowy natural finish. It's never sticky, never greasy, never drying. It's cruelty-free, vegan formula. They have skincare actives in here to support radiance and firmness, even skin tone, and protect the skin barrier. It mentions the new carotenoid active is called JD Phyto or 1%. And it combines pure fermented phytoene with organic jojoba oil. And supposedly this has never been available. The phytoene has never been available in an isolated form before. So this is a first. It's a new patent pending process that isolated this, and it's a zero waste process. So it's a uniquely colorless carotenoid and can be used at higher concentrations for greater efficacy compared to carotenoids like beta carotene and lycopene. It goes on to discuss the clinical trials, which it says has demonstrated significant measurable improvements in radiance, firmness, elasticity, and evenness of skin tone, while also soothing the skin, protecting from pollution, and supporting the hydrolipid barrier. It's natural, non-comedogenic, and safe for all skin types. So they have quite a few different shades. There are 24 different shades in the Serum foundation. Now it does say that's a medium coverage. I would say that this is medium to full. It's actually, you know, you can really build up this coverage to a pretty full coverage. So, you know, looking at like a lighter end of the full coverage spectrum, but you can definitely get it there. 3 drops is definitely plenty to get all the way up to that near full coverage part of the spectrum. 1 to 2 drops is all you need for like a more sheer lightweight foundation. And I have to say, I'm really, really liking this Serum foundation. I didn't pick it up originally when it first launched a few weeks ago because I was like, I just didn't think it would be that great. I thought the oil would separate and so forth. And yes, you do need to shake your product, but you should be doing that with all your foundations regardless. And I have to say, it performs so beautifully on the skin. It lasts all day. You know, it gives you a really beautiful natural radiance for the finish. It's not sticky. It doesn't have a strong scent to it. And as a matter of fact, I don't see any added fragrance in this product in the ingredients list at all. So oftentimes some of these more natural, you know, sort of foundations, they can have a little bit of a scent, you know, like you would get from natural products, a little bit more like clay, kaolin type scent. And this doesn't really have it. You can smell a little bit when you first open it up, but it's very, very faint. It's not something bothersome at all. And it's honestly, you know, after the first time I used it, I did not notice that scent again. So even when I smell my hand where I have the swatch right now, it's very, very faint. So I really like that about it because one of the deterrents for me from using some of those more natural, you know, foundations and so forth is the scent that sometimes can be a little overwhelming or it doesn't really dissipate. This is very, very faint. It does not bother me at all. So I really like that. But honestly, what's great about this is the performance. You know, it really gives you a beautiful natural finish. It's not sticky. It doesn't seem to melt off outside for me. It doesn't separate throughout the day. It takes well to powder or no powder. You know, overall, I have to say it's a really fantastic foundation and I can definitely see myself using this quite a bit. So let's go ahead and, you know, take a look at this foundation and what it looks like now. It's been about 10 minutes since I applied the original swatch. So let's see what it looks like. All right, so this is the shade 110. They call it potion number 110. And let's put a new drop here so we can see the, you know, any oxidation here. And you can see that it really doesn't oxidize too much. Once it settles down and kind of dries down, it actually has a little bit of a peachier color to it versus how it looks when it's very fresh. It's a little bit more yellow, fresh, but when it oxidizes, usually foundations turn more yellow. This actually turns a little bit more peach. And I think that, you know, for my skin tone at least, that's going to give it a little bit more of a natural look. I do typically wear the shade Fair Neutral in foundation and base products. So I have to say, this is it's a nice match. Let's take a look at a few other foundations just for some comparisons. This is the Chanel Sublimage L'Essence de Teint. So this is another serum foundation. This one here is in BR12. And I just put that right here. You can see it's going to be significantly peachier. Depth of color is pretty similar. This is the Guerlain Terracotta Le Teint, and this is shade 0N. This is going to be a bit warmer on the spectrum. You can see how it's got a bit more yellow even than the more freshly applied one. This, as it oxidizes, actually does get a little bit more yellow than the Rituel de Fille. I also wanted to take a look at this. This is the beautiful tint from Kjaer Weis. I really like this, but this is one of those products that does have kind of that, you know, more kaolin type scent. It's all natural, you know, there's no added fragrance, but it does have a bit of a scent to it that I just, you know, it doesn't really dissipate throughout the day. So this here is the shade F1. You can see it's going to be significantly more orangey yellow. So it's definitely a bit warmer. And we're just going to do a couple more. This is the Chanel number 1 de Chanel in, this is BD01. So this is my go-to shade in the Chanel. And you can see that it is going to be lighter, a bit more ivory. And then this is the Cle de Peau Radiant Natural in I-10, which is, the Cle de Peau foundations in I-10, they are my, pretty much my perfect match. So I put that right here, kind of in between. This is the Rituel de Fille and the Cure Weiss. You can see this is going to be more ivory. Just put a little swatch of that next to the BD01 as well. You can see how similar those are. The Cle de Peau actually got a little bit, it's a little bit more peach in it than the Chanel, which has a little bit more whiteness, a little more ivory in it. But you can see in comparison with the Rituel de Fille that this is going to be a little bit lighter and just slightly cooler. Well, it's cooler. So I have to say though, this Rituel de Fille foundation, I really, really like it. I think it is a great performing product. It's really, it impressed me. I did not expect to like it as much as I do. And this is going to go into my regular rotation. I think this like more dewy natural finish, it like dries down, not to like a powder finish or anything, but it like sets. So it's still going to be dewy. You can still, there's something on your skin, but it feels more like it was freshly moisturized. And I have to say, I just really like this. So this is definitely, seems like a great product for summer, anytime you want some sort of dewy natural radiance. And I really like how much coverage you can get from this product. So very impressed with this, and we'll see how this performs long term, but I'm going to continue using this. Let's move on to the Victoria Beckham Contour Stylus. Again, thank you so much, Sherry, for sending this to me. This is in the shade Marble, and this is her contour stick. She actually Victoria Beckham did a video with like a tutorial here on how she likes to use the contour stylus, and I will leave that linked down below. And yeah, so I tried to kind of follow her guidelines for that in the demo. So let me go ahead and show you that demo after we look at this swatch here. So this is it blended out. This is it kind of solid. You can see that the shade is still warm. It's kind of a warm beigey brown. There's definitely some red in here, but there are also some golden tones. So this is the shade Marble. Let's take a look at my demo. So the contour stylus is 1.1 grams of product. It has a 2-year shelf life, and it's made in Italy. It's very creamy and easy to blend. If you have used their eyewear sticks, those are actually a little bit of a drier texture than the contour stylus. The contour stylus is a little bit creamier. It's meant to stay a little bit dewier so you have more time to blend it out, and it really performs well with foundation. You can actually, it's going to have a little bit of a subtle luminosity itself, so it's not a straight matte product. If you are familiar with her eyewear sticks, she's got matte shades. Those are definitely more matte than this. This has more of a satin finish with, there's no sparkle or anything, but there is a little bit of shine or sheen to it. And I think it's a really nice contour stylus. From what I understand, Victoria Beckham has spoken in several videos before, like on Lisa Eldridge's channel, about how much she has loved the Burberry contour stylus that is now discontinued, and it was like a go-to product for her. And this seems like she has attempted to recreate that, in her own line. And I think it's a really great contour stylus. I do wish that she had some cooler shades. The shades that have been out so far, they do all lean fairly warm. So I wish there was something a little bit cooler in the line as well. But I do think that this shade works for me, especially since I use it underneath foundation. You can use this underneath or over. It blends out well enough that you could definitely use this on top of foundation. But I am definitely somebody who, I don't contour very often. And for me, I just think it always looks a little bit more natural underneath foundation. So I think it's a really great contour stylus. It's definitely something that I would continue to use. However, since I am not somebody to take that extra step, I'm a little lazy about that. But this is something I would use more, not necessarily on a daily basis, but if I were like going out for the night or something like that. But, my everyday routine for the daytime when I'm doing school pickups and after school activities and so forth, I probably wouldn't take the extra time for this step. But anytime I go like to a nice restaurant or something, I can definitely see myself using this as an extra step to just look a little bit nicer. And yeah, overall, I think it's a really great contour stick. I think Victoria Beckham Beauty is kind of on fire right now with this new Baby Blade brow pencil, which again, I used today. I'm loving that. And this contour stylus, and she just released 3 new eye kajuls for summer. These bright shades, they are limited edition. So if you're interested in those, check them out. I did order them, so they will be coming soon. I'll have those on my channel soon. All right, so just a couple of comparisons. This here is the Tom Ford in Intensity 0.5. Put that right there. You can see this is a creamier texture. And color-wise, this is actually going to be, it has less red in it. It's kind of the same shade except for the red. This is the Burberry Essentials Glow Face Palette. This is the Fair to Light, which is, this is my favorite. And you can see this is a deeper contour, but it has a bit more red. It's a cooler shade in general. And this is the medium to dark version of the palette. And let's go ahead and put that right here. You can see that this is even deeper and more neutral. It doesn't have the red that you have in the Fair Light, but it's not warm. And last up, this is the Westman Atelier Contour Stick in Biscuit. Let's put that one kind of right at the top. So here's Biscuit, Victoria Beckham. You can see that this is going to be cooler. It's a little bit lighter. Now, texturally, the Westman Atelier is a little bit, it's a little bit drier in consistency compared to the Victoria Beckham. They're both very creamy and easy to blend out, but I would say that the Westman Atelier sets a little bit faster, and it also has a more matte appearance compared to the Victoria Beckham, which just has a little bit more sheen to it. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. We're taking a look at the new Pat McGrath blushes. So I picked up 2 of these blushes. They have a duo set that you can purchase. You can't pick the shades in the duos, but I picked the one that looked like it would be best for my skin tone, the fair light combination. So I have the Peach Lotus and Divine Rose. And by the way, Alicia, Kinky Sweat, so Alicia Archer, she has a code from Pat McGrath. I believe it's Alicia 20, but I'll leave it down below in the description box because you can get 20% off with her code. So definitely worth doing. I used it when I got these. Thought it was a great deal. So this one here is Peach Lotus. You can see that you have kind of this, you know, luminosity to it, but there's no glitter or sheen. So packaging wise, this is a twist up. It's pink plastic packaging. Honestly, the packaging, it's cheap. I don't love the packaging. I do feel like, I don't know, the twist up just doesn't feel super substantial, so I don't love it. But here is Divine Rose. The product itself, though, is very nice. So you can see that when you blend these out, they become very sheer. And we're going to take a look at these on the cheek demos right now. I used the right side of my face. I used my fingers for application. We went up to 3 layers. And on the left side, I used a Sonia G Mini Base. And I have 2 of those, so I used a fresh brush for each shade, so there's no color contamination. So let's talk a little bit about this actual product. It is vegan. You get 7 grams of product. They retail for $29 US. If you pick up one of the duos like I did, that is $50 US. And again, don't forget to use Alicia's code to get 20% off. Now, according to Pat McGrath, these have a 3-year shelf life. So that's quite a while for a cream product. So I thought that was pretty impressive. They are made in Italy. They are free of silicone, parabens, sulfates, mineral oil, petrolatum, and phthalates. And according to Pat McGrath, it's a soft, buildable color, dewy, luminous finish, lightweight, non-sticky feel, flatters all skin tones. It's a multifunctional color booster for cheeks and lips. It's infused with squalane, passion fruit extract, and shea butter. So this versatile formula suits a variety of skin tones, ensuring the perfect touch of color every time. Infused with hydrating actives, this must-have balm creates a glass skin effect. The gel-like texture and buildable formula provide a non-sticky, non-greasy, glow-boosting wash of natural color. Its glossy finish imparts a lustrous, radiant reflection with major moisture and lush luminosity. And I have to say, I think it's a really nice product. This is definitely going to be a sheer cream blush formula. You know, oftentimes we'll see cream blushes. You can build them out or build them up beautifully. You can sheer them out nicely, but they're still going to have kind of that pigmented base to them. This is definitely sheer. You can see translucency in the formula. It builds out up very nicely for a light look, but it's not going to be a super deep, heavy look at all. It's definitely meant to kind of blend out and look more natural. And I think the formula itself is really nice. It does claim to be non-sticky, and I would agree with that. You have that glow. It's almost like one of those like glowy highlighter balms, for example, the Westman Atelier Lit Up sticks and so forth, but yet it seems to set better than those. And you still have that glow and luminosity without any shifting. When I touch my cheek, after like a few minutes, I don't really feel the product there anymore. So, you know, it sets, and I think that's really great. So the color will remain all day. It lasts all day on me. However, keep in mind it is a sheer shade, and it really makes me think a lot of the new Makeup by Mario blush veils. So let's swatch those real quickly. I have two of those. I have the shade Perfect Pink here. So let's see how this compares to Divine Rose. But just like the Pat McGrath, these also they sheer out, and you have a little bit of that translucency to it as well. Texturally, I would say that the Makeup by Mario texture is a little bit thinner on the skin. It feels perhaps like there's a little bit more oil in there. When they set down, this will feel more dewy on the skin after a while versus the Pat McGrath. The Pat McGrath feels more like it truly sets. However, they both last all day on me and do a great job. So I think both products are really nice. This one here is barely blushing. This is a little peachy, but it's more of a peachy nude. You can see when you blend that out, it has a little bit more brown than the blended out Peach Lotus, but they do look pretty similar blended out. Whereas the Divine Rose and the Perfect Pink are pretty different. This is definitely much cooler in tone. Divine Rose is going to be a little bit more of that neutral rose shade. And the Peach Lotus is more of like your true perfect peach. Another product that it kind of made me think of, this is the Merit Blush Balm. And this is Raspberry Beret. You can see this is also going to be kind of a sheer cheek product as well. It's a little bit lighter, but you can see that this is going to be a little bit more strongly pigmented. Texturally, it is fairly similar to both of these. And I would say though, again, this texture, it's kind of right in between the two, in between the Makeup by Mario and the Pat McGrath. It has a thinner texture like the Makeup by Mario, but it doesn't feel like it has as much oil content as the Makeup by Mario. It feels a little bit drier. Now the Pat McGrath, again, feels, you know, like a thin oil texture when you put it on, but it does seem to set down. And this will actually remain dewy. So I feel like the Pat McGrath formula is really, really nice. I do think though that the packaging is a con. It's very lightweight, and I don't like it. So overall, I hope this was helpful. I think all of the products featured here today were very nice products. And I'd love to know if you've tried any of these, what your thoughts are on these formulas. And thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you very soon.